welcome back to Sports Weekly on IEMG. Here we are going through spring football practices, getting ready for the 2022 season. We will be making the rounds here on IEMG, checking out a lot of our local teams. And this week, checking in with the Indian Springs Coyotes here with head coach Chris Chaddick. The Coyotes are coming off their best season to date, making the playoffs, making a run to the semifinals. Head coach Chris Chaddick is excited about this year's group. He's got a lot of returning players, some all-CIF players at the receiver position. So this team will definitely have some strong points going into 2022. And as we mentioned last year, the Coyotes making it to the playoffs for the first time in school history, and not only going to the playoffs, but they went all the way to the semifinals. This year, they are hoping to take the next step, get to a CIF Southern Section Championship game, and of course, compete for a Mountain Valley League title along the way. Here's our exclusive one-on-one with Coyotes head coach Chris Chaddick. We are out here at Indian Springs High School where the Coyotes have started spring ball for the football team. Join us here, head coach Chris Chaddick. And Coach, I overheard you talking to your players, and you told them you're going into your fourth season as the head coach here at Indian Springs. But really, just as your first true spring football season to get ready for the fall, what's it like to be able to have all spring to hopefully get your guys ready for that first game in August?
Well, first and foremost, thank you for coming down to Indian to interview us. As you can see, first thing I'm most excited about is we have numbers. We've had seasons where we've had 18, we've had seasons where we have 25. Yeah. We got 40 out here today, 50 the other day. So to have numbers, that thrills me. So that's the first thing about spring that's great. The second thing that I'm really loving about the spring is getting to teach the guys that are newer, help them develop. Because a lot of coaches, they know who their guys are, and that is a great thing. That's a great thing to know who your guys are, but you got to know who the next guys up are or who the diamonds in the rough are, and you find that through the development of the new guys. And we got many new guys that have a lot of potential. It's just up to us as coaches to develop that.
So, Coach, as far as the returners, I came out here, you were all excited because you said, hey, I've got a bunch of all-CIF guys over there. So the cupboard's not bare. You've got some guys coming back from a team that went to the semifinals.
Yes, sir. The most exciting aspect is that we have 3 all-CIF wide receivers coming back. Darren Harris is coming back. We've got Nemo Neal, who had 91 tackles. He's going to be a feature back / kind of jackknife, jack of all trades, like Swiss Army knife all over. And then we have, did I mention Jesse Jimenez, correct? And then we have, Jesse Jimenez, Darren Harris, and Nemo Neal. 3 all-CIF guys, 3 all-league guys that are just spectacular. And we have a defensive end that's going to be coming back. That also was an all-CIF player. And we're really looking forward to seeing what we bring together.
So speaking of these returning players, if you follow Indian Springs football, this past season, you guys not only punched your ticket to the playoffs for the very first time, but you went all the way to the CIF semifinals. How fun was that experience, and are you hoping you can maybe build on that and take the next logical step and get to a championship game this season?
Well, first and foremost, what a blessing that was. That was great. For the first time in history, we had a slogan through the playoffs: make history or be history, and we made a lot of history. But we got so close, and we had that taste. It was like it was like having the best appetizers in the world, and you're about to get to the main course, and the store closes. We were right there. We were about to get that filet mignon, and it was we could smell it. The server was taking it to the table, and it just dropped on the floor. So we were right there. So the expectation is that, if we do what we need to do, hopefully we get back. That's always the goal. First a league championship and then a CIF championship, of course. But we start one day at a time with basically winning the day. We got to win the spring. We got to get better in the weight room. We got to get better on the field. We got to get better in the classroom. If we do all 3, it'll take care of itself.
So here we are in the month of May, and we're still more than 3 months away from the first game of the season. But, Coach, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is an important time of the year, right, to get your guys ready?
Oh, yeah. Well, the first thing is it builds camaraderie. You see some of the guys standing over there. I mean, spring ball's done. The game's done, and they're sitting over there having fun, messing about with each other. The coaches are talking to each other. It's a great atmosphere because this is a low pressure atmosphere. Yes, there is expectations, but this is the time where the new guys can feel free to make mistakes, and they can make the mistakes at 100 miles per hour, and they can get corrected. And because they're free to be imperfect, and they're going 100 miles per hour, once they get it right, they'll keep maintaining being 100 miles per hour. We're just trying to create that culture of don't fear making a mistake, because you forget about it, you keep going, move on. Everybody's going to have each other's back, and that's what we're trying to create in the springtime.
Coach, another thing that I overheard when you're talking to your guys that, really hit home for me was, you're saying outside of seeing your own kids at home, like this is your favorite part of the day. You love football. You love being around them. You love to see them growing and improving each and every day. Like how much you just enjoy, I know it's a cliche, the process, but how much you enjoy the process of seeing them grow as football players and as men as well.
Well, like some of those guys that I mentioned have been with me all 4 years. So to see them through from when they were freshmen to when they were seniors, it's like watching your own kids grow. And then you see some kids that are, like the Nemos. Nemo Neal is a special guy. That kid was the league MVP in wrestling, the league MVP in track, and all CIF in football. And I guarantee he'll probably be the next Division I guy out of here for Indian Springs football. Watching his jump from his freshman year to his sophomore year and expecting him to be even greater in his junior year, and then just seeing, just watching that. Like all you want for your family is to watch them get along and watch them hang out, and like these guys are doing that. Like they love being here just as much as I love being here. And if I'm going to take time to, like we talk about this as a coaching staff, we talk about this as a team, we spend as much time together as we spend with our own family members. So they're like de facto sons to us. These are my sons. Like we grow together, we fight together, we fight to make it right. And then at the end of the day, we love each other. And that's what it's all about. These guys are like a family. We have a slogan, forget about me, I love you. That's the family. We forget about ourselves and we take care of each other. And you see it coming along. The numbers speak for itself.
Yeah, 45 sons or so this season. Pretty good numbers for the varsity team. Finally, Coach, the last thing I wanted to ask you, because I know that the sun's setting behind us here, but the last several years you've been able to get football players scholarships, including a Division I scholarship signee. How much pride as a head coach do you take in having your guys, not only if you win football games, that's going to take care of a lot of other things, but getting the recognition and the scholarships that help them get that college education?
Well, a lot of that goes to them buying into the process of being a student first. They take care of their grades in the classroom, and if they put together the film, we as a coaching staff are going to work as hard as we can to get these guys out. And the beautiful thing is we've gotten 5 guys out in the past 3 years, and those are lives changed. We've got a kid going to Grambling next year. We've got Black Hill State. We have other colleges, and it's beautiful to get the guys out of here, to get them playing. Josh Jones is actually in line to be a starter this year. Just seeing stuff like that excites me. Mm-hmm. And that they're going to come back in 4 to 5 years, and it's going to change the dynamic of their family, the dynamic of their neighborhood. And they were the forefathers of what's happening, what we intend to have happen, and it's just beautiful to see.
Yeah, it's definitely the groundwork, and I'm sure there's another Josh Jones or two maybe in this group coming up too. Coach, listen, I always appreciate the time, and I'll probably bug you again in a couple of weeks as you guys do some 7-on-7 and go through spring ball and into the summer. Sound good?
That sounds excellent. Thank you for coming as always, Pep.
Yes, sir. That is Chris Chaddick, the head football coach here at Indian Springs.
And we will be talking a lot more high school football in the coming weeks and months here on Sports Weekly on IEMG. But when we come back on this episode, we'll talk some Arroyo Valley boys swim. The Hawks making it to the CIF Swim Division IV Finals. We will check in with head coach Peter Gonzalez and some of his top swimmers when we come back here on Sports Weekly on IEMG.